Hey, are you ready to learn to make icing colors using the sugar art, which is powdered food coloring? It's what I love to use, and so I just thought I would show you how to use it as well. Now, I'm going to create the colors for my next cookie decorating kit, which is called the Cheerful Box. And one thing that's fun about the Cheerful Box is I give you that exact colors that you need. So I don't want to show you the whole thing, but let's see if I can do you see the little colors up there? Maybe you saw too much, but that's okay. But anyway, I have the color palette at the top, and I send you a list of supplies that you need. So that makes it a lot easier because finding colors and choosing colors, I think is one thing that's kind of difficult, and my goal is to make cookie decorating easy. So I have created I'm glad, Melissa. Now I look rough, you all. I don't have any makeup on because my dad's been in the hospital, and I am tired and I need, look at all this gray, but I get off topic. Anyway, I have my little things of icing already prepared. I've made my icing, and I love these containers. These are Snapware containers. So what I've done is I've just put icing in each of my little containers, so I don't have to do that. I can't find one of my containers. Who knows? I might have sent it to college with my son, because he'll come home sometimes and get food. So I have these little bowls from Amazon, and the Snapware container lid actually fits on top of that. So it works out pretty well. And let me show you the colors that we are going to use. Now, the sugar art has two different types of colors. One type is elite colors, and elite colors are used in airbrush machines and for painting, like painting on cookies. The master elites are the colors that we use when we are decorating sugar cookies or using royal icing or buttercream. And I just realized I left something over here in my kitchen. So we're going to take a walk into the kitchen so I can grab it. But I'm getting ready to film my class tomorrow. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I'm filming my class tomorrow. So I baked the cookies. This is a class that my subscribers will get that show how to decorate all of the cookies for the cookie cutters that come in the box. So I don't like to bake cookies and make icing and I like to do that on different days. I just think it makes things a little bit easier. So I'm going to make the icing today and let it sit, and then I will bag it up and I will film the class tomorrow. So again, I'm using Master Elites. That's what you use when you are creating oil icing or buttercream. The colors that I'm going to use are Sapphire Sky, which makes a really pretty light blue or darker blue. Autumn Gold, which I use absolutely all the time. It's a real I have a puppy, if you all don't know, and it is hilarious. I'm sitting looking out my window, and my puppy is on the back porch sitting in a container, which I haven't planted flowers yet, eating the dirt and licking the windowsill. Let's see if I can show him to you. He is the cutest thing. Let's see. Oh shoot, I don't know how to turn this around. I'm doing this. I don't think I can turn it around. I'm doing it on my phone. I usually do it differently. It's hilarious. Okay, so let me move my phone down so I can show you all how. Actually, let me let my crazy dogs in. Do you all have dogs? I have 3. And when I'm decorating cookies, of course, they completely stay outside. But I'm going to let them in because nobody's going to actually eat these cookies. I'm just using them for a class. And my one is spoiled, and so she doesn't like to be without me. Okay, so let me move the camera down. I'm curious, what kind of food coloring do you all use? Let me put this down real quick. Do you use gel food coloring? Do you use powdered food coloring? Okay, now I do have to figure out how to turn my, here we go. Turn my camera around. No, that's not it. It's so funny. I think I can do this perfectly. And then I try and do it a little bit differently. I usually use my iPad. Hold on. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I'm going to figure this out. While I'm figuring this out, here we go. I did it. Okay. Here we go. So here is, and I'll get a little bit closer. There we go. This is my icing. And okay, this is my icing. You use Americolor. I like Americolor too, but I just like the richness that you can get when you use powdered color. So let's start with sapphire. Now in my next box, let me see if I can show you all this. I always list the colors that are in the assortment so people don't have to guess, you know, what colors are we going to use. So I'm going to take my Master Elite, and then I have these little teaspoon measuring things from the Sugar Art, and it's funny. One says a tad, one says a pinch, one says a drop. And because I want 2 different colors of blue, I'm going to start with just a teeny tiny little bit of color. And this is the way I like to mix it. You can mix it lots of different ways, but I'm going to add a little bit of water from a water bottle. Next, I like to use my offset spatula. And let me get my picture back, my clip art, because I want to make sure that I make it dark enough. And I'm just going to mix that color around like this. Now you saw I just used the teeny tiniest little bit. And it's a very light blue. I want it to be a little bit darker than that. So I'm just going to take my drop, and I'm going to add in one more drop. Now, because I do this before I add any water to my icing, it doesn't matter if I add a little bit of water to that, because my icing just came right out of the mixer. It's still very thick. So do you see how that little, it doesn't even move. So I'm going to do this one. Now, I really like the color of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit this with the lid on, because that color has to be activated. And then I will go on to the next color. And then you'll see what I mean when we go back to this color. So I'm going to put the lid on because I'm very, very messy. Now, like I said, I have 2 colors of blue in this set. And so I use, once I make this one, I could also I could just add a little bit more blue to this and get the darker color too. But I think in this case, I'm going to use 2 different containers. Do you have to add water when you use powder? Yes, you do. That's a great question. It's actually water activated, so you definitely have to use a little bit of water. If any of you all are macaron makers, this is great. You do not have to use water. You can put it directly into your, what's it called? The liquidy part of your macaron mix, and you can color them that way. That's a really nice thing about it. But with royal icing, you really do have to use water. Next, I'm going to make a darker blue. So you can see this color blue that I made. It's very, very light. I'll call him back. He just got a job, so he'll know when I don't answer. I'll call him back. But I'll call him back in just a second. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm not even going to use my little dropper. I'm just going to put some more in there because I want this to be a darker blue. Next, I'm going to add some water to activate it. Mix it up. I love you hardly need any of the powder to make really beautiful, vibrant colors. So these are the colors that I'm going to use for the box. The next box is a nautical theme, so of course we need blue. Now I still want it to be a little bit darker than that, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. If I didn't add water, it would be very spotty, and you don't want that. So I'm going to add a little bit more water, mix it up, and now I'm going to use this tomorrow, so this will actually darken overnight. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So you can, because I don't like to add too much food coloring. I think it doesn't taste very good. So there's my light color. Here's my dark color. Of course, royal icing does not like air. So I'm going to make sure that I put my lids on there. I love these airtight snapware lids. They work really, really well. So those are two of the colors. Next, let me wipe off my little thing here. I might have to go run it under the water. I don't have the best light in my kitchen, so I do it in front of my window here. But let me go run this under the water real quickly, because otherwise we're going to have blue in the rest of our icing. So I will be right back. Better yet, I have a few extra spatulas. So let's make our next color, which is going to be an autumn gold. One of my very favorite colors. These colors are also, they work really, really well if you are blending colors and mixing colors. I like that a lot. You can use a little bit of one color and a little bit of another. So I'm just going to put a little blob on there. This is about a 1/16 of a teaspoon. You don't have to use these little things. They come from the Sugar Art, but they are helpful. Next, I'm going to just put water right on top of that. Then I am going to mix it. And I find that with this particular color, you really need to let it sit for about 15 minutes because the pigment will come out. And if you don't mix it again, it will be very spotty. But what I find is I will usually mix this color first. And then by the time I'm done with my other ones, we're good. So I think that is probably a good color. I might want it to be a little bit more orange. So what I can do is, another color that we're using is red rose. So I'm just going to add just a teeny tiny. I better use my dropper because I'll put in too much. Because you know yellow and red make orange, and you only need a teeny tiny little bit of red. So I'm just going to put a little bit of red, put in some more water, because I want this to be a little bit more orange. Do you all enjoy mixing colors? It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm a retired art teacher, so that could be why. And if you all could see my house, I have lime green walls and yellow walls and red walls and lots of art. And so again, this is our autumn gold. I just wanted it to have a little bit more of an orangey tint, which it does. Of course, the sun is, starting to set, so you can't see it quite as well. But I'm going to just sit this with the lid on, and then I will mix it up again here in just a minute. So the next color that we need is red. And so I have my other container, and let me get my clean spatula. So for the red rose, of course, red, you need more color, and you definitely do need to make red ahead of time, because if you add enough coloring to make it really bright red, this is true for any color, food coloring, it doesn't taste good. I mean, it might be a really pretty color red, but the idea is for the cookies to taste good, right? So you can see this is a very pinky color. It's almost like a salmon. So I'm going to add a little bit more red, but like I said, the idea is not to get this to red, because I'm going to allow this to sit overnight. So let me put in a little bit more. This is probably about 1/16 of a teaspoon. And mix it up. And this is definitely a light red, a pinky color. But when this sits overnight, it will darken a lot. So I'm just going to leave that there and allow it to do its thing. Last but not least, we have black. And here's a little tip about black. The Sugar Art has black, Master Elite. I'm sorry, I don't need black, I need gray. But I'm going to tell you a tip about black. I'm going to make gray by just adding a little bit of black. But I never actually make black icing. What I do is when I'm done decorating cookies, I have a container of black icing that I leave in my freezer. And what I do is I just put all of the leftover icing in a container, and it will become very dark. And then you only need to add just a little bit of color to get it to black. Because the same goes if you add a ton of black coloring, it's going to be ugly. I mean, it's not going to taste good. So I'm making gray. But I usually don't like to use black food coloring. I like to create details with black edible paint, because black icing just doesn't taste good. So there's my gray. Now, once I'm done, let me go back to the first one and clean off my, let's see, we can use the same one since it had blue on it. Actually, I'll be right back. I do have to clean one of these. Hold just 1 second. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay, so next we have we're going to go back to the first blue that I made. And you might be able to see, if I hold it up, there's little flecks of color in there. That is because the water activated those color crystals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more water because I want to get this to the piping consistency. I'm going to mix it up, and all of those little flecks of color will just mix right in. So this is my piping consistency. Right here, I'm going to let this sit overnight. I'm going to put this in a bag, and then I will add more water to get it to the flooding consistency. You might be able to see the color a little bit more in the darker one. So in the blue, I don't know if you all can see. I wish it were still real light, but there are little flecks of color in there. I don't want that. So I added just a little bit more water, and I'm going to just mix this up again. And those colors, all those flecks will mix right in. One thing I love, there's a couple things I love about this sugar art. One, you just don't have to add that much color in order to get really beautiful, vibrant colors, which makes the cookies taste better. I like that. I like the owners of the company. Quite honestly, they're just nice people. So I like to support them. And I like it because a little goes a long way. I mean, I've had this container of autumn gold probably for a year. It just lasts forever. So, you know, it's a good money saving. So this has, the autumn gold is made with a little bit of green. So it'll have a little bit of a green, sometimes a green fleck. So you just add the water to make it into the flooding or the piping consistency. Stir it up. It's ready to go. But like I said, I'm going to sit these overnight. Tomorrow before I decorate, I'll mix them again. And they will be perfect. Last but not least will be my red. My thing is dirty and I don't want to go clean it. So I'll do that after I hang up for just a second. So the colors that we use are Master Elite Red Rose, Master Elite Autumn Gold, and Master Elite Sapphire Sky, and then some black Master Elite to make the gray. So let me see if I can turn this over again. And if you all have any questions, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Yes, I can. Okay. I'm back. So do you all have any questions about using color from the sugar art? I really do love it. That's why I use it. If you have any questions, if you're watching this on the replay, you of course can put them on the replay. I'm making the colors for my cheerful box. You can go to www.cheerfulcutters.com. And let's see, I think I can add this. There we go. Look how cool that is. You can go there and you can search for the cheerful box. You can find out about it. It's my cookie decorating kit in a box that comes right to you every month. It makes cookie decorating a lot easier. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned a little bit about the sugar art. If you want to try the sugar art, I have a coupon code. It's Cheerful Baker, and it saves you, I can't remember if it's 10% or 15%. Honestly, I just can't remember, but it's Cheerful Baker. You can try it. I love it. It's the only thing that I've used for years. So anyway, that's it. Have a cheerful day. Bye.